Mercifully, the fans have turned up for this one wearing far more sensible outfits than myself. They always turn up here in Graz. Only 500 in for this afternoon session, but a sellout for every single session after that. And our fourth year returning to this magnificent venue, the Steiermark-Halle. The European Tour in 2023 sees world-class darts, world-class fans, and world-class atmosphere. 13 different events in 6 different countries: Austria, Hungary, the Netherlands, the Czech Republic, Belgium, and of course Germany, where the majority of events are held. 48 players compete in each 3-day tournament, and it's a different lineup every time, but they always include some of the icons of the sport, the exciting new talents, and representatives from all over the world. The winner takes £32,000 sterling, and the best performing 32 players in terms of money won over the year go to the European Championship in Dortmund to play in front of 7,000 fans in one of the biggest events of the year. Let's show you what we've got coming up this afternoon. A lot of new faces today. We're going to see 5 players making their European Tour debuts, and it starts with Nick Kenny, the talented Welshman who you may have seen at Alexandra Palace, but he has not set foot on a Euro Tour stage until this afternoon. He's up against the Latvian number 1, Madars Razma. We've got another Latvian in our second game of the day. First look at Dmitrijs Zukovs, actually based over in Galway in Ireland, against Northern Ireland's Mickey Mansell. Another one of the new faces is Owen Roelofs, very, very talented youth player, stepping onto the European Tour stage for the first time, but he's up against the Polish eagle Krzysztof Ratajski, a title winner just a matter of days ago on the Pro Tour. It's the return of Pikachu, Ricardo Pietreczko, who had a brilliant weekend in Leverkusen. He'll take on Cameron Menzies. Our Austrian contingent starts with Marcus Haider. He's up against Luke Woodhouse. Maik Kuivenhoven then takes on Bradley Brooks, who's playing arguably the darts of his life, the young lad from Blackburn. Jeffrey de Zwaan takes on another Austrian in the Ramhanner Schnier, and Big John Henderson takes on debutant Dylan Slevin for the right to face Michael van Gerwen tomorrow. Let's get our first game underway. Here's our MC, Philip Brzezinski.
Hallo und herzlich willkommen zur Interwetten Austrian Darts Open 2023. Das 5. European Tour Event des Jahres, live und präsentiert von der PDC Europe, hier aus der Steiermark-Halle in Graz. Zeit, unsere ersten beiden Spieler dieser Session auf die Bühne zu holen. Wir begrüßen aus Wales ein Sieger auf der Development Tour, ein Halbfinalist auf der Pro Tour. Er feiert heute sein European Tour Debüt. Hier kommt Nick Kenny! Sein Gegner kommt aus Lettland, die aktuelle Nummer 37 der Welt. Ein European Tour Halbfinalist und ein Finalist auf der Pro Tour. Wir begrüßen Razma Madars, Razma! Außerdem begrüßen wir auf der Bühne einen Teil unseres Refereeing-Teams hier in Graz. Und das ist der Kirkulator, Kirk Bevins.
Welcome to the Steiermark-Halle in Graz, the 5th staging post on this season's European Tour and the latest renewal of a tournament that really has been dominated by one man of late. Michael van Gerwen will come here this weekend as the defending champion and a 4-time winner of the Austrian Darts Open. In fact, he's never lost a match at this particular venue. He starts his campaign tomorrow as one of the 16 seeds, but today's first round action features the 30 qualifiers and Austria's top two, Menzies and Roby John Rodriguez. And two of those qualifiers meet in this, our first match of the weekend. Nick Kenny making his Euro Tour debut, and Latvia's #1, Madars Razma. Rob Malarkey in the chair for this one, and alongside me. Talking of milestones, Paul will tell you all about that in due course. Paul Nicholson.
Thank you very much, Rob. Great to be back in Graz. Hopefully the weather will give us a little bit more sunshine over the weekend, but the sunshine from the players, I'm sure, will be bright and warm. But when it comes to Nick Kenny, I was flabbergasted this morning.
Thank you, gentlemen. First leg is Nick to throw first. Game on.
This is actually my 50th European Tour event as a commentator, and I'm feeling very proud about that this weekend. But the fact that this is Nick Kenny's debut, I had to check it 3 times.
Yeah.
I've not been part of every European Tour event. And I thought maybe I've missed when Nick's played. I haven't, because this is his debut.
Yeah, I think there can only be a select number of people who've played on the Ali Pali stage before they've played on the European Tour stage. But yeah, it's an intriguing setup, this one, for our opening match of the day. Nick Kenny's a player who won back his tour card at the start of this year. He initially won it at the start of 2020, but then didn't quite do enough first time around. But my word, he had 1 year on the Challenge Tour. He's come back very much quickly, and one or two signs that it's going to be hard again. But I think that first example, that first experience will count a lot in his favour.
I think there's been a lot of pressure on Nick over the last few years. And one of the best young talents to come out of Wales over the last 10 years. But maybe he can just settle in this season and just give himself a good amount of chances. But unfortunately, when it comes to European qualification, up to the end of July, he's going to have to make the most of this, because this is the only one he's got.
Yeah.
91.
And as I said, 2023 has been a bit of an ordeal so far for him. Round 1 defeats in each of his last 6 matches or tournaments on the Players' Championship circuit. So he'll want to make the most of this opportunity as well for that reason, I fear. But it's Razma who is down to a finish first on the Kenny throw, but the 170 is not going to go this time. Kenny will return looking at 141 for a potential 15 darter that would settle him down nicely.
Doesn't matter how much experience you've got, you still want to get that settler. Especially when it's the first game of the tournament. You do not want to be the first person eliminated.
It can be a demoralising experience. Long journey over to the eastern portion of Austria, only to fall at the first hurdle. But that 112 is not going to go after 2 single 20s. So Kenny returns looking at
32.
A more orthodox double 16 for the opening leg of the Austrian Darts Open 2023. And nicely taken as well, no messing about on double 16. A 16 dart leg for Nick Kenny to kick things off.
I think he enjoyed that one as well, Rob, because there was a nice smile across his face there with that wonderful shot in the bottom left corner. Let's talk about the history of this tournament then. We've had 5 different winners of this tournament.
57.
And this tournament was the very first European Tour event back in 2012, won by Justin Pipe. His sole victory on the Euro Tour. Michael van Gerwen, like you mentioned at the start, he has dominated
57.
the Roll of Honour, winning this 4 times. And one of only 2 men who have donned the famous Graz green jacket.
Yep, the other, Johnny Clayton, who took the honours in 2018. Clayton, by the way, it's curious, actually, because we talked about Van Gerwen and the fact that he's got this proud record here. Van Gerwen didn't play in 2018, and his replacement as one of the seeds was Johnny Clayton. Yeah. Clayton was elevated to 16th seed, and he went on to win the trophy, beating Gerwin Price in that brilliant final. It was a great tournament all round, really. So
what you're saying is he's had a very big hand in everything.
Yeah.
In Graz.
And I mean, we lost the tournament in 2020 and 21 as well. And Gerwin winning in Vienna as well in 2017. And even when this tournament went under another name, the European Darts Match Play in 2015 in Innsbruck, he won that as well. So it is an unbelievable record that Van Gerwen has in Austria.
You know, this tournament has had 4 different venues,
59.
And every venue has had a Dutch champion. Now, it's easy for me to say that because Michael's won in 3 different venues. In Wiener Neustadt, just down the train line by about 2 hours. He's won in Vienna and Graz, of course, on multiple occasions. But Vincent van der Voort won this tournament in Salzburg.
151.
Well, 6 darts for Razma from here. May only need 3.
63.
I don't think he would have been overly aggressive anyway on that 151. He's just manoeuvred himself into a more manageable situation. Kenny looking at 179 just to try and put some pressure on.
2 numbers spring to mind when it comes to 179. Either a 171 if you go south first, or a 139 to leave tops. That was not a bad approach from Nick.
Well, he has applied that pressure that I was talking about. So Razma now looking at 68, and he's missed the single 18 as well, which
72.
is bitterly disappointing from his perspective. And Kenny now looking at a gilt-edged opportunity for the break of throw, 46. Slap bang in the middle of the single 6. One more bite at double 20. And a let off for Razma.
You might find it a bit strange that Kenny went for 6 tops, considering how good his shot at double 16 was in the first leg. But he is predominantly someone who goes to tops if he has a choice. Razma equalizes after dodging a couple of bullets.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something else that Michael van Gerwen's got in the Austrian Darts Open as well. It is the tournament average record of 115.57. That was in Vienna in 2017 against a somewhat forgotten dart player in Cristo Reyes of Spain. If you're watching, Cristo, we hope you're well. But that leads me
100.
to the venue average record here in Graz, and that is held by a certain Madars Razma, which was last year 108.65 in demolishing Michael Rastovitz by 6 legs to 0.
Yeah, he made the final day last year, did Madars, losing to Nathan Aspinall on the Sunday.
96.
And Aspinall's going to come into this with a little bit of confidence after last night in Rotterdam.
Certainly is. Terrific evening for Nathan in the Premier League.
And
86.
he made the final in Munich. He's doing things this year that he's never done before. So maybe, if you're looking for an outside possibility, maybe Aspinall would be someone
92.
who could pick up a first European Tour title this weekend.
Razma was a fairly comfortable qualifier for last year's European Championship as well. He was 20th on that European Tour order of merit with £22,500. And he had success on the, or relative success, I suppose, on the Pro Tour last year by virtue of an appearance in a final on the Players' Championship circuit, which he lost against Gerwin Price.
24. Thank you to go 115.
He did a lot of things last year that he'd never done before. That's what players want. What Nick wants is that double top that he missed in the previous leg. And this time, it's smack bang in the middle. Take your phrase, Rob. That was a beauty.
Game on.
Yeah, highest checker of the weekend so far.
I talked about Razma doing really good bits in 2022. He has always been someone who likes to use the treble 19 a bit more than most. But if he's going to go back to the world match play, he's going to have to get a move on. He's outside of the qualifying spots at the minute. But he does have a few European Tour events to look forward to over the coming months. He's here. He will be in Leeuwarden next week in the Netherlands. A typically brilliant 174 there from Madars. He will be at European Tour 8 and 9 as well, so plenty of scope.
Did just grab a quick word with Madars yesterday on the connecting flight from Vienna. He did admit he was a little bit tired. He was involved, of course, in Wigan last weekend with the Pro Tour, and then he had to go back home to deal with something in Latvia as well. So then he was journeying back to Graz via Vienna. He was looking forward to a little bit of rest yesterday before hitting the ground running today. I don't think he was anticipating being first on. He found out later on than that day that he was going to be on first on stage this afternoon. I think he might have appreciated a little bit more downside.
What he's got to do is what Berry Van Peer did in Munich. Get that win, and then you've got the ultimate rest time before Saturday. There's certain rules when it comes to Madars when he plays well. Don't give him a shot at double 18. That's why. And don't let him free roll on that 57, because when he starts finding it, he will frustrate the living green jacket out of you.
Yeah, good, impressive, eye-catching 13 darts. A leg for Madars Razma there. 4 legs played. They've all gone with throw. We've had opportunities for a break, but so far it's 4 holes in succession. I always anticipated that it might be this sort of encounter, a very close-fought thing, when this draw was made yesterday.
Yeah, I agree with you, actually. I think when it comes to this afternoon's session, it's a really intriguing set of fixtures that we have. And popping off the page is Krzysztof Ratajski, because he's a winner again and playing at an elite level. So debutant Owen Roelofs has got his hands full in game 3.
I mentioned Suljovic and Rodriguez, Roby John Rodriguez being the 2 Austrian, or the top 2 Austrian players there in the field, along with the 30 qualifiers. It's Suljovic who brings the curtain down tonight in the last match of the day against Ricky Evans. Contrast of styles, I suppose, might be applied to that one.
84.
But yeah, some standout ties later. You look at Haider against Whitlock, 2 European Tour champions. And you look again at Gurney against Bunting, a 2-time major winner against a former world champion.
56.
That Hybrex Whitlock match is going to be really interesting for me to watch, considering our World Cup past. That's going to be weird seeing it from the outside for the first time. This is good. And a smile from Nick Kenny, who gets it all on the inside.
Well, 184 to leave 4.
Well, who was he? Leighton Rees? Because that's what Leighton did in the 1978 World Championship, to hit a 10-darter. He hit a 180 to leave double-2, and then Leighton hit the double-2. So over to you, Nick.
58. Nick, you require 4.
Well, plenty of bites at the cherry here, way inside on that double-2, however, in the Madhouse. Now, he's fortunate in the respect that Razma's stuck on 198, but I tell you what, a big visit here from Madars, and then another nervy visit from Nick Kenny, and it opens it up again.
99.
Fascinating.
Thank you, require
99 to leave 99. Does it matter? It might, because that is horrible.
He's blocked it there. He's had to move over ever so slightly, but he's played it ever so well. And Nick Kenny takes the acclaim of the crowd once again and edges back in front at 3-2.
I know his European Tour career is only 5 legs old, but that's the best start he's thrown in his European Tour career so far. That was a belter from Nick. Just like that. I did a little bit of work on Razma's European Tour career as well. He's made 1 semi-final. That was in Trier last summer. Lost out to Roby John Rodriguez. No, he was left crestfallen at that particular defeat. But I'm interested in people's win percentages more than ever, because there's so much in the way of statistics out there. But Razma has won 43% of his European Tour matches. If I was to say that to him right now, he'd be displeased with that. He's played 35 and won 15.
431.
And as you say, he's in uncharted territory this weekend, because he's got another Latvian player alongside him. That's never happened before. And
98.
he's been Latvia's number 1. Well, he was the first Latvian to hold a tour card as well. So he is a trailblazer for darts in his own country.
Sure is. He has a big effect on Latvian players. They all revere him. I mean, think about his former World Cup teammate, Yanis Mustafayev's. Really, really digging in, living in England now and trying to get better to emulate what Madars is doing for Latvian darts. It's incredible stuff.
63.
Well, potential 11-dart leg coming in here for Nick Kenny on the Razma throw. Razma's left himself a Shanghai. Kenny is looking at 70, and he's now looking at the bullseye.
Good.
And the bullseye is found for the first break of throw. And there is daylight between these two. And Nick Kenny continues to thrive on his European Tour debut.
Seems to be having fun as well.
Game on.
And in previous big stage encounters, I have not seen Nick have this much fun before. And maybe that's the key to him kicking on, because playing at places like Lakeside, Ali Pali, he hasn't had a massive amount of success. But the amount of experience he's got playing for his country in the WDF and doing things at development level and all of the other levels up to this, maybe it's the right time for him to find that next consistent level.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he found it.
And maybe there's a lot to be said for the fact he might prefer the early start as well. He's not had a chance to dwell on it too much. He's just got out there first thing, and so far so good. He's got work to do. Let's not lose sight of the fact that Razma's more than capable of hitting back in this. He is a bit of a street fighter when he certainly has to be. Very little between the averages, just 2 and a bit points or so, but it's enough so far. And Kenny's finishing has been impressive. Apart from that little slip up on double 2 when he hit the 180 to leave 4.
It was all his own fault, though. He shouldn't have left double 2. It worked out in the end, but sometimes you feel that little bit of pressure from the crowd when you're on a shot like 184. They say, come on, hit the 180 to leave double 2. You don't have to.
Well, that's it. It's a balancing act, I think. You get the crowd going with the 180, but then almost immediately they're expecting you to back it up straight away. A little bit of pressure here, though, for Nick Kenny on his own throw.
Okay, he had to fill the boat there to get himself onto a finish. Razma doesn't have to go for the ball if he gets another 60. The pressure was coming from the crowd there. If he'd have got that 60, I get the feeling that he would have gone for the ball because the people expect you to do it.
Yeah, 1 or 2 in the crowd thought that second dart had found the treble 20. It didn't. It was just 105, but yeah, he's certainly got this leg in his hands here.
And it requires 65.
Good 25.
Excellent 25. Just checking with Kurt Bevins, our match referee for our opening match. 2 bites at tops, but he only needs 1, and it's an instant break back, and Razma has hit back straight away. That's a really good measured response by Latvia's #1 player.
Look at that finishing as well. Razma, 3 out of 3. Just needs to get a few more opportunities. He's a great finisher. He showed that in 2022, not just finishing legs, but starting legs at the World Grand Prix as well.
Well, Nick Kenny will be aware of that. He obviously hasn't seen the graphic, but he'll know that Razma's not missing anything right now, and he'll know that he needs to keep Razma away from that finishing opportunity, and he needs to get himself into position first, because the stats so far suggest that if Razma does get down to a finish, he will punish you.
As a player,
42.
You know what they're doing. Even if you're not a player that looks at what your opponent is doing, when you see and you hear from the referee, you require such and such, and it's popped immediately, you think, he's not missing, is he?
60.
So I'm going to have to get a move on here. When you are 4-3 up after 7 legs, you're thinking to yourself, I don't want to be level. I want to get that 2-leg cushion back. I think this is only the second European Tour event I can remember where we've had snow-capped mountains on the horizon. I think the other one was Innsbruck.
Innsbruck, definitely.
As our esteemed colleague Richard Ashdown would love us to say, we are
93.
by the lake. Not quite like that.
Yeah, it's a nice setting where we are. There's a sculpture park just over the road. There was a lake as well. When the weather's nice, it is a nice place to retire to in the interval between the afternoon and the evening session. And I think many of the fans will gather there ahead of the evening session later. We are expecting almost a sellout tonight as well.
It's just a remarkable country. One of, if not the most beautiful in Europe. Not just saying that because we're here, but it genuinely is an astonishing place.
Well, this could be astonishing as well. 161 for Razma. Just the wrong side of that treble 17. And he makes up for it with another treble 20 to leave himself 32. And Razma's looking good all of a sudden here. And I just wonder whether he'll make it 4 from 4 on the doubles. If he does, we'll level at 4 from 4 as well.
60. That's required 32.
I think there could be moonlight and music in the air, because I think there may be trouble ahead for Nick Kenny. If he doesn't hold here, he still hasn't missed a double. And we have seen very recently somebody go 6 for 6 in a European Tour match. That was Andrew Gilding.
Well, Andrew Gilding is producing all sorts of sorcery at the moment, isn't he? And he'll be here this weekend as well. He's here as the number 16 seed. That's how elevated he is these days. He comes into these European Tour events as a seeded player by virtue of his ranking on the Pro Tour Order of Merit. And of course, his overall Order of Merit has benefited immeasurably as well as a result of that astonishing success at the UK Open last month.
And nobody wants to play Andrew at the minute. For a couple of reasons.
56.
He messes with your rhythm, but he's playing really well. Best of 3 legs from here.
But the momentum is with Razma, no doubt about it. He's won the last 2. And Kenny just beginning to look a little bit, I wouldn't say rattled, but disturbed by the progress that Razma has made over those 2 legs. The finishing has been exemplary. But Razma playing catch-up in this one.
Just look at the wingspan as well of Nick Kenny's throw. Left arm is way back. Massive prod with that extended right arm before everything is thrown. It's almost angelic. But that's not.
Problems here for Kenny.
70.
Second time in a row he saved his visit with his last dart. Well done.
Yeah, needed that. Down to a finish. Could have been better, but for those 2 5s. But he'll take that as a result of what happened with those first 2 darts. And again, great recovery with the final dart from Razma on this occasion as well.
14.
So both players down to a finish. Kenny on a more manageable 114. 18's here. Just outside the treble 18 that would have left tops.
58.
Get the 2 trebles this time. He's definitely going for the bull. This is a lot harder than it was 12 months ago against Rastovitz, where he won 6-0. And Nick's job is very, very clear.
You require 56.
Don't give him a shot at 80. Hit what you've got.
It was a very nervy, snatchy-looking first attempt at double 20.
80.
And Nick Kenny knows that was his opportunity. He knows that Razma, when he gets down to a finish, is more than likely to punish him as well. And I think that may have been in the back of his mind, And here we are again, this time at double 10. It could be curtains in this leg was once more for Kenny. He's missed a dart at double for the first time in this match, and he's missed a second as well.
Someone may be leading a bit of a charmed existence here. Can you show Madars where double 10 is, Nick? You bet he can, with a really positive shot as well. He doesn't want to go home. He wants to stick around.
Well, talks about the response from Razma. That response from Kenny is just as impressive. Obviously benefiting with those 2 missed darts at double 10, but making it count. Razma's only kicked off with 97 as well. Kenny, can he punish him? First dart suggests not. Likewise, once again, 2 single 5s. Can he find the treble 20 this time? No, he can't.
Would you like one last Austrian Darts Open factoid?
Please.
This was Philip Douglas Taylor's last European Tour win back in 2016.
And that was in Vienna.
It was.
I remember it well.
That was. And that is incredible from Nick Kenny. Very smart as well to get himself down to 300. It means he can go back to the treble 20 now and try and leave a finish from there. That was really good counting.
Yeah, the 30 on the first visit, followed up by the 171.
If this is a sign of what's to come over the next 2 and a bit days, it's going to be nerve-wracking. Great shift. Straight down the pipe with that one. And he just walked on dart 3 there. His right shoulder just shrank. Hence why that dart went low and left.
$64.
Interesting last start there going for the bullseye. Sometimes I can't figure out what Madars is thinking. He doesn't get much wrong. Maybe Nick's going to get nothing wrong.
140.
It may be the case that this 148 must be hit.
Well, very little margin for error here. And Razma is not going to take the opportunity.
Nicky requires 75.
Out of Razma's hands. All he can do is wait and hope that Nick falters again. At least 73. So if he wants a shot at tops, he could possibly go treble 11, but most people will go 57 here.
Well, he's having a good long think about this. He's left himself, he's got the 51, so he's left himself double 11. Quizzical, but it's paid dividends, and you can question it all you like, but the outcome is that Nick Kenny on his European Tour debut has got the job done, and he's seen off Latvia's #1 player, who at one stage was imperious on doubles, but Kenny had the final say, and he takes the opening match of the weekend by 6 legs to 4.
Nick Kenny steht bei seinem European Tour Debüt in der zweiten Runde der Interwetten Austrian Darts Open. Nick, congratulations. A European Tour debut and a successful one as well, and you looked like you were enjoying it.
Yeah, fair play. The crowd were absolutely buzzing. Go on, boy. Thank you for support. Hopefully you give me the same support tomorrow against Joe Cullen. Appreciate it, and I understand it's gonna be a lot busier tomorrow.
It is going to be. It's going to be 2,000 plus tomorrow. Very interesting way to go there for that match-winning finish.
Well, I hit the 2. I thought I'd go 17, 18 tops, but one of the best doubles on the board is double 11. So I thought, just give yourself one chance. I looked at double 13 for double 17, and I thought, treble 11 tops. No, 51, 22, and 22 went in. Happy days. What?
Nick, I mean, for a European Tour debut, Madars Razma, a real quality player, someone who's really, really difficult to beat. So this must make it even better, that one.
Absolutely. Just played Madars on the BDO. Me and him, it was between me and him the first time I ever played Lakeside. So, yeah, he's a fantastic player. He always goes around the boards, and a little mind game there, going for 171 in the last leg. Was that, yeah? Yeah.
Hey, Nick, congratulations. It was great to watch this, and best of luck tomorrow in the second round. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Kenny. In Runde 2, Woodhouse vom nächsten Mal der Einzige. Wir freuen uns auf Zukovs aus Lettland und der bekommt es zu tun. Mit Menzies aus Norden.
Baujahr 0,0. So gut kann Erfrischung schmecken. Die isotonische Erfrischung nach dem Sport. Isotonisch vitaminhaltig und 0,0% Alkohol. Und deshalb bitte ein Bit.
Well, that was a really interesting first game and a very interesting finish as well from Nick Kenny, who wins on debut against the venue average record holder. So one Latvian has been eliminated via that 6-4 win for Nick Kenny. He will look to improve on that when he plays on Saturday, but he will be elated at the fact that he is back tomorrow. Madars Razma, the first person eliminated from this year's Austrian Darts Open. But his compatriot, Dmitrijs Zukovs, will take the stage right now up against Mickey Mansell, and he will have to be patient against the very, well, he's a slow player, isn't he, Mickey Mansell, but he's very deliberate, and he will hope to do one better than Madars Razma from that first game. So over to Philip Brzezinski on the stage to bring us Latvia versus Northern Ireland.
Herzlich willkommen zurück zur Interwetten Austrian Darts Open 2023. Die erste Runde live und präsentiert von der PDC Europe, hier aus der Steiermark-Halle in Graz. Wir holen unsere nächsten beiden Spieler auf die Bühne und begrüßen aus Lettland. Er feiert heute hier in Graz sein European Tour Debüt. Hier kommt Dmitrijs Zukovs. Sein Gegner kommt aus Nordirland mit einem Titel auf der Pro Tour. Ein Halbfinalist beim World Cup of Darts. Hier kommt the Chrono Cyclone, Mickey Mansell.
Let's do it then. Game number 2 of the Austrian Darts Open for 2023. And it sees another debutant, one of 5 today, and another one of the players from Latvia, up against the vastly experienced Clonor Cyclone that is Mickey Mansell. And he's one of 3 players this afternoon who have won a PDC title. The other one's being Krzysztof Ratajski, who you will see very shortly, and the other one being Jeffrey de Zwaan, who's looking to go great guns on the European Tour and maybe improve his CV. But this is Dmitrijs Zukovs, who lives in Galway in Ireland. He's a firefighter, apparently. And we're about to find out how good he is at the old dartage. And it's a really interesting test that he has in this first round match, because he will have to be patient against the deliberate Mickey Mansell. We are in the hometown of Arnold Schwarzenegger here, Graz, Austria. Yes, there's a little factoid for you. But what's even better than that is I'm sitting next to someone who has worked with Arnold Schwarzenegger this year, Dan Dawson.
Yeah, technically you worked with me, but yeah, we collaborated. But yes, Graz back here for a 4th year. And some interesting new faces. And this is one of them. I mean, Nick Kenny, look, he's a guy we've seen play on the tour. We've seen him at Ali Pali. Now he's got his first European Tour win.
Mickey to throw first. Game on.
But truth be told, we don't know a great deal about Dmitrijs Zukovs. As you mentioned, he's based in Ireland. He is Latvian. He's a firefighter. Enjoys a bit of welding, apparently.
Oh, Gary?
No.
Not Gary Welding.
No.
If you're not aware, Gary Welding's a very good dart player. Had some great PDC results in his career.
Well, he doesn't look slow.
93.
That's a pretty decent opening visit from Zukovs. Not seen a great deal of players from Latvia. Of course, Madars Razma's the leading light from Latvia. Seen him partner up at the World Cup most recently with Mustafievs, who another Latvian who's based elsewhere. He's based up in the northwest of England. Look at this.
127.
Well, encouraging early sign.
Yeah, he might have a little bit of adrenaline pumping through the veins for the first couple of legs, and sometimes that can do really good things for you. Let's judge him on the whole contest, because this one, whether it's 6 legs or 11 or somewhere in between, it's going to take a bit of time, because Mickey will plot his way through this game.
Yeah, well, Mickey Mansell is not going to play as quickly as Dmitri, but he's on a potential 11 darter. Go to the 14s. To leave double 10.
61.
Would have been a 12 darter, and it's one of those brilliant legs that, because it's Mickey Mansell, it sort of slips by without you realizing how brilliant it is.
46.
Yeah, I think he's had some decent runs on the tour in the last 12 months. And sneaky good, I think, is a very fair way to describe him. And not just in that first leg, which he has taken in 14 darts, but over the last 14 years since he started playing PDC stuff back in 2009.
Yeah, and there have been peaks and troughs. But last year, we saw him reach the final day in Prague on the Czech Darts Open. He ran Michael van Gerwen very, very close. Only lost in the last leg decider. It was a weird game. Van Gerwen averaged 108. 18 points more than Mickey Mansell. And yet, Mickey was in with a shout of stealing that win away from him.
Just goes to show that a 97 or 98 average can win any match, as long as you time things right.
That was the first time he'd reached the final day of a European tour for 8 years, though. He's had injury problems. He had problems with his wrists and fingers and all sorts of stuff.
It's never a good thing, injuring the things that you need to hold the dart. Someone came up to me yesterday and said, it's a good job you're not playing this weekend, Paul, because you've got plasters on 3 of your fingers.
What have you done there?
You should never pick up the lid of a Dutch oven with no glove.
Wise words. And you're getting that knowledge for free.
58.
This is pretty encouraging from Dmitrijs. You kind of thought maybe he might freeze a bit, might be overawed by the occasion, but doesn't seem that way.
59.
I think it helps the fact that he's here with Madars Razma, having something familiar. Double 12.
60.
That's not close. And Mansell, who loves tops, will have 2 cracks to leave it. Second crack. Also misses. So this time Zukovs has got to be close. Especially now.
Dmitrijs 24.
Well, for his first ever leg on the European Tour, Dmitrijs Zukovs gets double 6. It's 17 darter.
You know what's encouraging me, Dan? It's not just the fact that he's played pretty decent in the first couple of legs, but it's a new name from the Nordic and Baltic qualifiers. I think one thing that I've been screaming for are new faces from those qualifiers. And we did get Oskar Lukasiak in Munich, put up a decent fight in his game as well. But it's not just the likes of Daniel Larsson and Marco Cantala, you know, the real mainstays of those qualifiers. But it's nice to see some new blood coming through, albeit not at their youngest, but it's still nice to see new faces.
Absolutely. And that's not to say that we're not going to see plenty more of the likes of Cantala and Larsson. But if there's new talent coming through and they can be competitive, then that should push the likes of Larsson and Cantala on to have to play better to qualify. It's all about getting these regional tours, the affiliated tours, to a better standard, more healthy competition. That'll drive up the overall standards. Now, who those players are that are going to be the standout ones, it's sport.
85.
It's a free-for-all. Any of them can do it. But I think we are seeing it steadily in North America. And we've got established players from North America on the tour now, the likes of Matt Campbell, Jeff Smith. Jules Van Dongen's in his second year of his tour card and has some work to do to keep it, but you wouldn't bet against the likes of Leonard Gates getting on the tour or Danny Baggish getting back on the tour.
It'd be really interesting if Leonard Gates does get on tour, because what I was hearing recently is that when he practices, he has 3 darts and does a dance for about a minute and then does another 3 darts of practice. I'd be interested to see how that goes down in the practice room at a place like this.
Zukovs keeps himself interested in this leg. Still a chance for this. That probably does. 139 is a very, very difficult outshot.
Yes, it is. 3 different parts of the board needed. That doesn't help. So Mansell has got his preferred primary double.
You require 40.
When he did win his solitary title, this was easy. Two 5s. And a great tertiary double, which gives him a little thumbs up. Maybe a sign of what's to come from the possible 16th seed this weekend, which is Andrew Gilding.
Yeah, winner of this one takes on the number 2 seed, Dave Chisnell.
79.
Chizzy, the winner of our first European Tour event of the year in Kiel, the Baltic Sea Darts Open. Then it was Gerwyn Price picking up the next 2 titles. And Michael Smith, our winner in Munich last time out.
And over the next 6 weeks, if you like European Tour darts, just mark your calendar. Austria, Netherlands. Then we're off to Belgium.
Oh, no, yeah, Belgium, yeah.
And Czech Republic. And then we go to a little place called Germany. Back to what I like to call the home of the European Tour, the Glaspalast in Sindelfingen in May.
140.
Yeah, well, some players will rather scathingly refer to this as the Germany Tour, but we are going to 5 different countries in the next 5 events, including this one.
81.
which means we'll probably see a range of different players.
Of all of those events that I've just mentioned, Mickey Mansell's going to none of them.
This is his first one of the year, isn't it? And qualifying for these Euro Tours has not gone well for Mickey this year. And already you start to fear for what that'll do for his ranking. But if he makes the most of this one, and at the minute he's averaging more than 102, Mickey Mansell.
Just do what Dave Chisnell did in Kiel. Win the tournament. You don't have to go to any more. You'll be qualified for the European Championship and you'll have your second tour title if you're Mickey. And he's got himself a third leg. And this is a really good performance from Mickey, not just in the overall average, but the first 9, over 120.
Yeah, well, that was an 11 darter. Mickey Mansell playing world-class stuff here. It's the first breaker throw. Northern Irishman is giving Dmitrijs Zukovs a baptism of fire on the European Tour. Not stopping either.
140.
He's only had 2 ton plus averages this year, Mickey, and they're just a shade over 100. So, in a so far sense, this is the best he's played this year. That's encouraging.
Well, if he maintains this level, it'd be his first 100 average on the European Tour in his 50th game.
Yep, 50 games, so he can raise his dart to the crowd. Got a win percentage on the European Tour of 45%. What do you make of that?
Well, it basically means he'll qualify for these. He's never been in the seeded positions. Half the time he gets through to round 2. The other half he goes out in round 1. Now, there have been a couple of runs beyond that. He's reached the final day 3 or 4 times, reached the quarter-final once. But he wins as many as he loses. He's not pulling up trees in the European Tour circuit.
Yeah, it was around about that time of 2014 when he was in the Northern Ireland squad for the World Cup, and he was beaten by Dolan in that quarterfinal at the Dutch Darts Masters. That was his best run. The European Tour throws up some amazing statistics about players. We talked about Nick Kenny having his debut today. That was astonishing to me. And then Mansell is someone who has never made a semi-final. Talk about players like Nathan Aspinall, who won in Rotterdam last night. He's never won one of these.
Oh, it was only his first final last time out in Munich. Turns out it foreshadowed that nightly win in the Premier League. This is good for Mansell. Yeah, wonderful setup shot from Mickey Mansell.
It's wonderful for a couple of reasons. One, I like the thinking of it, because even if he slips into the treble 19, he leaves double 2.
You require 40.
But the execution there to leave tops after 15, putting Zukovs under so much pressure. He's thinking about the previous misses at 10s, and he put it right. Yes, he can. That's a really interesting T-shirt, watching Mickey Mansell. Arriba, arriba. Doesn't go hand in hand.
He may not be the quickest around the stage, but he's not hanging around. Still averaging close to 98 here. And this is the sort of performance that can cause problems for Dave Chisnell. Even Dave Chisnell, with how good he's been this year. This can cause problems for anybody if he hits his doubles. I mean, 97 averaging 40% of your doubles, you're going to be competitive.
And Mickey's the kind of player that he's had ups and downs, like you mentioned, in the last 15 years. But he has done some things more recently that he's never done. Winning on the Alexandra Palace stage, for example. A stage that was fraught with demons for him. But he is owning this game so far with the kind of statistics that, if you can maintain them, could take you far.
Well, we know Mickey Mansell has done it for a whole day, over 7 games to win a Pro Tour event. Now, it's fewer games he'd need to win to take one of these European Tour titles. However, they would be spread over 3 days. They were all on the big stage. It is a slightly different demand of you as a darts player.
66.
What has Zukovs had to do to get back into this game? I mentioned that maybe some adrenaline was pumping at the start, and that can have great effects. It can make you feel like you're playing with a superpower. But when that dissipates a little bit, you have to figure out how to play in a normal state. And he's averaging 82 at the minute, and maybe that's a bit more normal for him.
Well, he's had 4 darts at double. They all came in that second leg. And at that point, when he'd leveled up and felt that he was throwing all right, he was in the game, probably was still getting a bit of a buzz. But that can be very quickly killed when your opponent is just winning leg after leg without you even fashioning an opportunity. And he might win this leg as well. Well, he'll take a ton now to leave tops. Exactly what he gets.
148.
This is something that Razma couldn't take out to save the match in the previous game. Well, Dmitrijs got really close. He can't keep giving Mansell shots at tops and tens. Not with 3 darts in hand. Doesn't seem to be hitting tops a lot, though. It's a good job he's hitting tens.
Yeah, well, Mickey Mansell is being given these opportunities. 3 darts in hand, looking at 40. And he's taking them out. He's done it on 10s. He's done it on 5s. Did it on tops in that 4th leg. And he's just being allowed to dictate terms. 12, 13 points clear in the averages. 12 darts at double compared to Dmitrijs' 4. And Dmitrijs, as I say, has only had darts at double in 1 leg in this match.
It's not turning out to be a very good afternoon for Latvia.
No, it isn't. Any Latvian fans tuning in, do stay with us. But
yeah, you might
all
want
of your
to.
guys will have gone out in about 1 or 2 legs' time, it looks like.
You might want to watch the next game, actually, whatever happens here, because Owen Roelofs on debut, exciting young talent, against Krzysztof Ratajski, he's in proper form.
Polish Eagle is back.
60.
I'm still not convinced he's quite at his best, but he doesn't need to be to win Pro Tour titles.
That's a scary prospect.
It is. Well, Ratajski at his best had convinced me that he was going to win major titles, aside from the World Masters, which he has already won, of course.
I've made an observation as well about Mickey Mansell. I'm not 100% about this, but you know this new points rule that's coming in 2024? Mansell has used aggressive points for the last couple of years.
140.
I wonder if he's changed, or whether these are just a black version of those aggressive points.
Difficult to tell with a dark-coloured point, isn't it?
Absolutely. But it is something that is going to have to change for a lot of players coming up to the summer and autumn. If they don't make those changes, they could face consequences. But the consequences seem to be falling the way of the Latvian, because if 106 is found, there will be a double Latvian elimination here at the start of Graz.
Well, it's not going to go just yet. So Dmitrijs will get a look at 115 to save his skin.
Well, look at treble 16 here.
54.
Doing everything to leave tops and tens. He's got a definitive game plan.
Oh, chance is gone. And it's going to be match darts incoming for Mickey Mansell. It'll be single 12 for double top.
25.
And if he does get 2 match darts,
52.
there's every chance it's game over for Dmitrijs.
He's got a marker this time.
Game shot.
Didn't really need it. Bottom corner found by Mickey Mansell. A very well measured performance. And when he evaluates that in an hour or so, he will feel very, very good indeed. The doubles were very decent at 6 hits from 14. The average came down a little bit towards 94. But the first 9, after 2 or 3 legs, it was sky high. But he will be feeling sky high because he will be playing Dave Chisnell tomorrow, will Mickey Mansell. It's so long to Dmitrijs Zukovs, and unfortunately Latvia have lost both of their players this afternoon, but we're going to stick around for Ratajski versus Roelofs after a quick word from the man from Northern Ireland, so he is.
Mit einem klaren 6:1 Erfolg zieht Mickey Mansell in die zweite Runde der Interwetten Austrian Darts Open. Mickey, congratulations. A very convincing scoreline, 6-1, and it was a convincing performance as well, average of 94. You must be pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, very pleased with that. You know, I've played well. I've been playing well on the tour the last 3 months, but sometimes the results aren't going my way. But I feel all along I've been playing pretty well. As I say, it's a tough tour, so you whenever results don't go your way, you just have to believe in yourself that you're good enough, and that's in the situation that I'm at the minute. Like, I do believe I'm playing very well, but where the results come or when they come, that's open for debate, sort of thing.
It's not an easy thing to come up against someone you don't really know. European Tour debutant, obviously, in Dimitri. So yeah, that can be a bit challenging, really.
Yeah, it was. It's a bit of a crazy story till the whole thing, because Dimitri actually lives in Ireland, in the Aran Islands, and he'd been talking to Willie O'Connor on the flight over, which I was on a different flight, but Willie was telling me the whole ins and outs of Dimitri's travels, and it's amazing, and fair play to him, to anybody that's willing to take the chance and the opportunity to go to the European qualifiers. The opportunities there, it's brilliant for them, but fair play to Dmitri. He's on that cusp of a wave. He's going to challenge himself to be better, which is a very thing to be respectful for, because he's chasing something that he knows is there, and quite rightly, as I'm led to believe, he's on the World Cup team as well. So fair play to him for achieving all them goals. But I didn't know all these things till last night, so it was a bit crazy. But as I say, for anybody that comes from Ireland and is achieving in the PDC, fair play to them.
Mickey, congratulations and best of luck tomorrow in the second round. Ladies and gentlemen, Mickey Mansell.
Welcome back to the Euro Tour, where Mickey Mansell, the Northern Irishman, has just taken out a Euro Tour debutant in Dmitrijs Zukovs, the Ireland-based Latvian. A very solid display from Mickey, an 11 darter in there, 94 overall average, a scoring average, the first 9 at 108 come the end of the match, but it was up at 120 halfway through the encounter. Very, very solid. He'll go through to face the number 2 seed Dave Chisnall in the second round tomorrow. It is all unseeded players in action today, as always in the opening day of Euro Tour action. But that's not to say we don't have some big names. Well, we do have 5 debutants in this afternoon session alone. We have coming up Krzysztof Ratajski, a winner on the tour already this year. The Polish number 1, the Polish Eagle, against another man stepping onto a Euro Tour stage for the first time. It's the young Dutchman, Owen Roelofs.
Kommen zurück zur Interwetten Austrian Darts Open 2023. Erstrunden-Action live und präsentiert von der PDC Europe, hier aus der Steiermark-Halle in Graz. Hier kommen unsere nächsten beiden Spieler. Wir begrüßen aus den Niederlanden ein Finalist auf der Development Tour, ein Challenge Tour Halbfinalist. Heute feiert er sein European Tour Debüt. Hier kommt Owen Roelofs. Sein Gegner kommt aus Polen, die aktuelle Nummer 19 der Welt. Ein World Match Play Halbfinalist mit 9 PDC-Titeln. Hier kommt the Polish Eagle, Krzysztof Ratajski. Außerdem begrüßen wir auf der Bühne unseren Referee für die nächsten beiden Partien und das ist the one and only, the voice, Ross Bray.
Well, probably the biggest name we've got this afternoon in Krzysztof Ratajski, a former world master, a former Euro Tour champion, won in Gibraltar in 2019, and a man back in form. A winner on the tour just a matter of days ago. He says that it's only hard work and practice that has got him back to title-winning form. But when he was winning titles in his first spell, in the real successful years as he burst onto the scene, won a number of titles without even having a tour card. Well, there's Jelle Klaassen here to cheer on his countryman Owen Roelofs in his Euro Tour debut. But he did suffer a little slide, Krzysztof Ratajski, for a good 18 months or so. It looks to be that the Polish Eagle is emerging from it. But this is an emerging talent in Owen Roelofs, following in the footsteps of his older brother Colin, who was a phenomenal youth player. Won pretty much everything there is to win in the BDO WDF youth systems, winning titles all over the place. Now appears to have stepped away from darts to be an MMA fighter, known as Combat Colin Roelofs. So don't say anything nasty about his little brother Owen, Rob Malarkey.
59. Well, I have a distant cousin, Jamie Malarkey, who is very useful at this cage fighting business in Australia. So if that were to happen, Dan, I have a little backup planning case of emergency.
Okay. How quickly can he get to Graz?
Well, that remains to be seen.
Right.
I say cousin. He's called Malarkey. He must be some
Right.
distant relation. I'm applying the Joe Biden school of family extension here. Anyway,
Yeah.
looking forward to this one, Dan. I've got to say, Owen Roelofs, you know, lots have been said about him already. One of 7 Dutchmen who secured a tour card at European Q School in January of this year. He did cut it fine via the Order of Merit. He scraped it.
57. So if you require
And he is a player still
142.
working on the development tour as well. And he's still studying as well. So he's got lots of balls in the air, this young man.
102.
Nice setup for the Polish Eagle. Leaves himself on tops after just 4 visits to the board. Keeps on doing that, then this young man is going to have his work cut out for him.
Require 40.
Not his favourite double.
And so it proves to be the case, Dan, on this occasion.
105.
So Roelofs looking at 105 for a, well, what seemed like an unlikely break of throw.
Ooh, 2 tops or 16s? Where's he looking? It's 2 tops.
65. Krzysztof, you require
Found it hilarious. That you
I
can
was
get
going
up
to
to
say,
double top.
I've heard he is a player who does play with a smile on his face, but he needs to just maybe apply a bit of focus. And Ratajski, at the 5th time of asking, gets the job done and just about comes through unscathed in that one. Talking of good young talent, Josh Rock lies in wait for the winner of this one, by the way, the number 15 seed this weekend. Just another footnote on Ratajski as well. That title that he won recently was his 9th Pro Tour title. He's one of only a handful of players who's won the whole lot. You know, the Players' Championship, a UK Open qualifier, a Euro Tour. There's not many that's done that. And when you look at the number of finals that he's lost as well, it could have been so much better. Since that European Tour success in Gibraltar, he's had 8 ranking finals on the PDC circuit, and he's won 2 of them. The one the other day, and the other against Ian White in Players' Championship 4 in February of 2020. So Ratajski might reflect on that. It depends what sort of character he is, but my word, I think you've got to rank him as one of the most, despite that blip that you mentioned, it was a lengthy blip, one of the most decorated players out there.
Absolutely. And look, he could add another to his set this year when Ratajski will appear on the World Series as it heads to Warsaw. First time that PDC will stage a tournament in Ratajski's home country. Will be a range of nations represented, but Ratajski will be the leading light from that sort of Eastern European area. But double 10 will level this game up.
33.
Don't want to give Krzysztof shots at these sorts of things.
Downstairs for treble 19, which he finds, so back up to tops for a 2-0 lead.
97.
And once again, just labouring on that double 20, as was the case in the first leg. Roelofs looking at a potentially awkward double 5.
That
Touching the
helps.
wire. Yeah. And there you see just that nice incremental movement inside. And, well, he is all smiles, isn't he? Ratajski tries to regain his focus and retain his composure.
Not usually a problem for Krzysztof.
Yeah, just watching him backstage, just quietly plodding his way around the place and just settling himself in. A few sessions on the practice board, just the way he just holds himself. Very difficult to read.
100.
We've already had a couple of Latvians, Northern Irishmen, Welshmen. It's the Netherlands versus Poland in this game. Scotland versus Germany in our next one. We'll have our first English player to follow that, Luke Woodhouse, when he takes on one of the host nation Austrians, Marcus Haider.
100.
You did confuse me slightly as well with the MMA talk. I thought you were talking about his degree that he's doing. I think he's actually doing an MMA himself as well, but a very different one.
16.
Or the Dutch equivalent of. But yeah, as I said, he's doing that. He's obviously playing his trade on the development tour this year as well. He's made a couple of quarter-final, well, 2 back-to-back quarter-final appearances on the development tour as well. And now looking to make inroads on the European tour and get some prize money on the Euro Order of Merit as well under his belt.
As you said at the start, he sort of scraped through Q School, but did get through, which is an achievement in itself. Double 12 for Ratajski. That probably helps.
66.
But only to get somewhere near it, Krzysztof, and that wasn't. The doubles proving a little bit tricky for Ratajski here. Roelofs is only going to get one chance, if that.
45.
Well, doesn't even get that in the end.
Required 12. Game shown the third leg.
Well, he's needing more than one attempt, but he is taking the opportunities on throw so far in the end, Krzysztof Ratajski. It's all in stark contrast to, I suppose, the flip side of what we saw from Madars Razma in the opening match, where he was 4 from 4 after 4 legs and then crucially lost his way. Ratajski, I think, will be hoping it happens in reverse, where he can just sort of ease his way into this in terms of his finishing.
Well, I think the best thing, or the most likely thing to improve that for Krzysztof, is if he can start leaving the doubles that he wants. Double 16, double 8, where he does a lot of his work. See the way his darts lie down quite flat, and so not quite stealthy enough, cramming that sandwich in.
There's no shame in eating a sandwich at 2:15.
You don't know what's in it.
Well,
but yeah, with the way that his darts go in the board, Krzysztof, double top, double 12. If he misses outside, it can often be a hindrance to him. That doesn't help him. See, when he gets the deflection, it goes over the top. So he's trying to go in alongside. A lot of it, he's not a big 180 hitter, Krzysztof Ratajski. I don't think he even got into double figures over 7 games when he won his title the other day. But that's because he moves away from that treble 20 so often. Very, very good at hitting 1-3-4s and 1-7-1s and things like that. But that looks a good one. Can't follow. But if he is allowed back to the board, he'll be doing his business in that bottom left corner, which he likes.
Yeah, which is where he wants to be, as you said. But, well, will he get the chance done? Just
88.
wrong side of the wire for that second treble 18 for Roelofs. So 64 here for Ratajski.
Well, send up on tops anyway. I assure you, he didn't mean to do that.
It is plan B. It's not a bad plan B on this occasion, and it is the first break of throw. Yeah, by accident rather than by design in that particular case for Ratajski, but he leads 3-1. And for the first time in this match, he has a little bit of daylight to work with. Talks about him being decorated as well. I mean, you look at his
57.
respective rankings as well. Top 20 in the Order of Merit. Likewise, Pro Tour Order of Merit. 3rd on the Players' Championship Order of Merit right now as well for 2023. So not just one of the most decorated players involved this weekend, but also one of the most consistent as well.
Well, the impressive thing is, I mean, he's obviously very high in the Players' Championship Order of Merit for this year. This year is when he has started to get back playing his proper stuff. See the little Roelofs cheerleaders, former world champion among them in yellow classing.
Yeah, back here this weekend as a player as well.
59.
But yeah, the impressive thing is that he's still up there in things like the Pro Tour Order of Merit, because the vast majority of that 12-month